in the chat here today. The CEO of Constellation DAG will be speaking at the summit here as well. So like Josh mentioned, tons to cover today. And we got to figure out the order here a little bit.
Yeah, let me just, we have Kelly in the wings. Kelly has that hype alpha. I have a little bit of an XRP story. I definitely want to get into that just real quick, folks, because there is a warning. I have to warn the XRP holders because there's a lot of bullishness, but there's a major red flag here. So Ripple Labs, they had their major legal milestone. They ended up settling at the $75 million. Remember, it was kind of locked, or they got to pay 150. Ripple Labs wanted to pay less. Settled out with 75, so that's good news here. Brad Garlinghouse called it historic chapter close. He said the crypto war ends in failure for those who try to use our government against innovation, aka against Ripple Labs. Now, we're in this parallel channel to the downside that we pointed out a while ago, and there's a nice target for the upside. There's a little bit of a bull flag pennant here. You can measure the flag, and boom, right there. But I wanted the warning. What's the DZ's warning here? Well, within this range, we have a little bit of a pattern that we just replicated, folks. So you can see here, we have fallen below the range on the 4-hour candles. And let me just draw something for you. The last two times, when we invalidated it here, we came all the way down to the bottom of the range. And you can see it right here as well. When we invalidated it here, we came all the way down to the bottom of the range. It looks like XRP might be invalidating its uptrend to the top of the range. I'm not saying it's guaranteed. I'm just saying the last two times it fell all the way down to the bottom of the range. And if you're wondering what the price is, that's going to be a significant about 25-30% drop. Gives you about $1.77 XRP. And last thing, the gaming sector, we have it down at the bottom. SEC closed its investigation into immutable without enforcement action, signaling regulatory easing. So people in chat said super is pumping. This might be a huge move for gaming tokens. Obviously, we need a lot more catalysts. We need alt season to kind of kick off. We need Bitcoin to sustain its run. We need maybe some whales to turn real bullish. We need Leo Trade start dropping videos. Alex Becker start dropping videos. We need retail to get excited. But you're hearing it first. This might be the first step. This might be that first domino. And that's all I got.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for your time today, DZ. I know you've got a really good upload to go shoot on some secret altcoin news that we just discovered that a lot of people are sleeping on, and it might be a really good opportunity.
Did we front run a hint?
I heard you were gonna
coins.
Yeah, I heard you're gonna film this while you're dancing too, so we're gonna get some ballroom.
I have ballroom dancing lessons later, so I'm preparing for the wedding. The wedding's pretty soon. It's almost about a month away from now. It's only like a month and a half.
Proof of steps.
Yeah, I got to do proof of steps. It's a POS system. We're doing some proof of steps, and we're going to dance to Lady Gaga, and I'm going to wear a meat suit. She'll be in the meat.
Oh,
so it'll be pretty cool, man. It'll be pretty cool. So smash that like button. Smash the like button for love.
There you go.
For love, baby.
Shout out to wholesome family values. Everybody here at Discover Crypto, pro family. And I think that's going to pay off over time. So.
And just a quick hint on the video for tonight, turn on notifications. There are 4 crypto roundtables being held by the government, and they all have very suspicious titles that point to an altcoin. One of them is Bitcoin that points to a coin. And so they title the roundtable where you're like, oh, they're clearly talking about this altcoin. And so turn on those notifications and you'll see it tonight.
All right. Thanks, DZ. We'll see you again soon.
All right, guys, we got a few special guests joining here today. We are going to be doing these awesome 6-hour streams that you guys absolutely love and adore here as we watch the, of course, DC summit here throughout the day. But we're going to be bringing in Kellam and none other than Gary Cardone. It is good to see you guys again. Welcome to the stream. It's good to have you guys. You watching the blockchain summit at all today, or are you guys just tuning in?
I've been going through it, trying to stay up on what's going on while also trying to figure out this multi-streaming narrative, doing 14 things at once. But, we're live here on Discover Crypto. We're live on my X. We're live on BitLab Academy. We got Gary Cardone. I reached out to him earlier this week and happy to have him come back on. But there's all this drama, going on with Hyperliquid as well, which I think is just noise in the scheme of things. I'm more excited to get in the conversation with Gary, and then we can jump back over to some of the talking points from the DC blockchain summit.
Let's bring them up here. This is going to be there's a lot to break down from the DC summit. I mean, they're talking from everything from tokenization to, of course, bipartisan crypto policy that favors everybody, especially people in New York. We have a lot of people in New York that can't even buy crypto really still to this day. And then they're talking about even tokenizing real estate, which I'm sure, Gary, I would like to get to your thoughts just overall on the entire tokenization real estate sector. This is a huge conversation that's starting to kind of be uplifted by not only policymakers, but really closely on a state level. What are you seeing just within the real estate sector, someone that's been very successful in this new application of blockchain itself?
I'm probably the worst guy in the world to ask about this, maybe second only to my brother. Look, I personally think that we are going to tokenize a lot of things before we get to real estate. And not to put a damper on it, I do believe that market will come, but I think it's further down the road. Just like I think and have thought that adoption wasn't going to happen at the very bottom of the value chain, right? It's going to happen at institutional levels, which means to me that tokenization really should target real fungible products, crude oil, natural gas, equities, pensions, bonds, those type of insurance with, annuity streams. To me, those things are going to happen first. And I appreciate that there are companies out there doing this. I just don't see the volume of deals.
Yeah.
So it will come.
Well, Gary, one of the things you actually said last night on the space we were doing on the Mario Nawfal channel, you actually said something that I think is important for us retail little plankton out here trying to swim with sharks and whales, about the price valuation and whether it matters or not to these major players. When you're talking about not only ultra high net worth individuals, but also multi-100 billion or multi-trillion dollar institutions that we're all so excited for about when they're going to come in. And we think that they need to stack now so they could protect it. I'd love for you to sort of recontextualize that and share that with this audience, your thoughts on price point as it relates to larger players. Do they feel like they're in a rush to get in? Is it as much of a rush as we're hoping, or is this just going to play out when price stabilizes a bit more?
Well, I think that the small retail, professional investors are not unit biased. Okay, unit bias is, oh gosh, I can buy XRP for $1.70 or $2.40, whatever it is, and I can buy, let's see, I could buy 1,000 of those. That costs me what, $2,400 versus buying $1,000 worth of Bitcoin. That's just a retail, really massive undereducation on unit bias. It's just people like buying lottery tickets instead of investing, right? So that doesn't happen I don't care what the price is. I was never going to put 86% of my net worth into Bitcoin at $300. Never, not that's why I say risk adjusted. Today's a better price to invest in Bitcoin, risk adjusted and time sensitive. I value my time. I think you're going to wait around, generate more profits today at 88 to 150 to 225. It doesn't really matter. At 225, these people will be very, very comfortable with this product. They won't even care the number. I mean, they're going to say, I need an allocation of 5%, period. 450, 45,000 doesn't really matter to them.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. That's something I've been mentioning a lot here about the time on market, the maturity of the market. There's actually the value here at around, especially around 80K, after you're seeing some of the richest, the most powerful asset managers in the world. The risk is far lower today than it was even in 2017. And I agree 100% with what you said. It's going to be, look, I need a percentage. Get it, whatever the number is. I want exposure. This is not a 1 year, 3 year, 5 year hold. This is a, probably not even a 10-year hold. This is, I want this in my portfolio for the rest of time because it's acting as both a hedge and also a good upside asset. So if this 3 to 4% of my portfolio can outperform the other 95% of my portfolio, it balances real quick. So yeah, I agree. The big money is coming in a big way, and big money doesn't move fast. They weigh risks. They do risk analysis, and it's playing out almost exactly as we've predicted there. So 100% agree.
Well, you know, in addition to that, we also, one of the things that's kind of popped up, and it seems like an ever evolving story with how new this industry is. We forget how young it is with this new sort of thing bubbling to the surface with this financial mechanism, the bit bonds. Bit bonds, you know, adding a new avenue for potential, basically raising money, you know, for the U.S. government, also potentially risk adjusted, not risk adjusted, sorry, budget neutral for getting Bitcoin exposure, as well as giving. I mean, what do you make of this? Is this just, are we still way too early to expect something like that to pass through? Is this going to be a multi-year sort of timeline to get something moving on that? Or is that something that's just a shot in the dark? Hopefully something similar to, will come in the near future.
Well, there's been a lot of discussion on the bit bond. Look, I think there's going to be 1,000 of these products. Okay. We're just seeing what's happening now. The market is going to create products that Wall Street buys. Remember, Wall Street sells things to people. Like, people don't wake up calling Wall Street and going, hey, I need this product. Wall Street actually looks at all the arbitrages, all the gaps, all the differences and the needs of the marketplace, of what people are trying to accomplish, and they create products to meet those needs, just like you and I would create a software program to solve a problem. I'd like to go back just real quickly to the point that was just made about both the insurance aspect of the Bitcoin, and that is, I think the most professional investors, the big funds, the big pension guys, the people that study this and really put the proper hours into it, are going to understand that they have bought a call option on the future of technology. Probably the most secure call option they could buy. This call option, called Bitcoin, never expires. That is very, very unusual for me to be able to store fiat, move fiat into something that never expires. And I think I have an option on the future of technology. I also have a put, an insurance policy on the complete collapse of the fiat system. So either one of the, even if the fiat system just does exceptionally well, Bitcoin still goes up. My call option's worth something. And if the whole system starts breaking down, or even parts of it, I think Bitcoin's going to play a insurance hedge to protect my downside. And it's extremely unusual that one could buy both a call and a put for derivative terms, a call and a put, and they have no expiration.
Yeah.
Like that's big deal. Okay. A very, very big deal.
Yeah, it's very interesting how early we are to all of this too. I mean, we're watching the blockchain summit here today, and I completely agree with the tokenization talks as well. And whether it's going to be thousands of products, but what's very interesting to me is what is going to be the first access point for corporations? Like, what's going to be the first incentive for them to really start adopting Bitcoin as well? I mean, we see GameStop coming out, sitting down with MicroStrategy, but is it going to be 0% capital gains tax? Is it going to be access to the carbon credit markets through tax incentives for flare emissions and natural gas providers that are converting wasted energy into Bitcoin miners? There's a lot of utility and application to this future of technology. And, you know, someone that's just been so successful, both in the gas, the TradFi markets, now you're entering Bitcoin and this, you know, this future of tech. For all the beginners that are just, you know, kind of coming in, that are new to crypto, that are worried about the price action. At the end of the day, retail is always going to be worried on, is this the best time to enter now? When they're coming into the market today, all they hear is recession talks. They're hearing tariff wars. They're hearing Bitcoin's bad, Bitcoin's slow, Bitcoin not good, and all of the same FUD that comes out every single bearish trend, so to speak, gets a lot of people to fear out of this market. And so my question to you is simply, just as someone that has had that success, that has seen TradFi, that is, you know, betting necessarily against the dollar crashing, but, you know, you are worried about the traditional financial sector. What do you see in Bitcoin that makes you so confident in this strategy you have in hedging your portfolio?
Well, I don't think very many people are in this, actually. I think that we live in an echo chamber that we think, look, no one knows about Bitcoin. That's just the truth. I spend time with these people, and these people don't even care. They don't care one iota about self-custody. Now, I'm not trying to be like, well, I'm not even going to make an excuse for it. These super rich people do not care about self-custody. They care about keeping their power and their wealth. And they're probably not going to redesign their entire life over taking 30% or 3% or 8% of their portfolio. They can't unwind all their lives. So look, I think we're still early. I think we're early I think we've actually accelerated the process for Bitcoin through the Trump administration, through technology, and through the discovery of all the stuff we're finding out about how much crime there really is in governments. I think we've accelerated Bitcoin's process by at least 6 years, if not 8, a full 8. And the cycle, I think the cycle is completely broken. One thing I would like to talk about, I don't think we need like no capital gains on Bitcoin. All this narrative, for instance, the bit bonds. The bit bonds are most likely to happen at the state level first to me. It would be very easy for Texas, who seems like they're going to actually get approval and a bill passed on Bitcoin. They would be the natural player, or Utah or in Oklahoma. Hey, we need to build a highway. We're going to launch a Bitcoin bond to build this highway. To me, that's where this happens. And we'll have many, many products like that. And that's how we're going to that's where we're going to get the vast amount of traction when we get derivative products of Bitcoin into TradFi's hands.
I just wanted to echo on that as well. You know, they did a survey that was released a few days ago. It was about last week, I believe, from Smerconish, and I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but a recent survey showed that 86% of the people surveyed said no, they were not interested in investing in Bitcoin. And we're sitting here on Discover Crypto, BitLab Academy, Blockchain Basement, Crypto Twitter, and we're all wondering every time there's even a possible bullish headline, why the market isn't just absolutely running away. We just had institutions starting to get the green light to start entering. Only the ones that were on the sort of leading edge of risk really started layering in last year when we got the Bitcoin ETF going live. And yet we're all wondering, because of our circle, how this isn't the biggest topic and the biggest narrative, even with the new administration coming in, why every one of the first things that Donald Trump did, why wasn't it all directly pertaining to Bitcoin? Because this is such an edge issue on most people's minds and all of us, because we understand Bitcoin, because we understand blockchain as the rails of the future. We say this should be preeminently number one, because this affects every industry, every economy and culture, as well as the humanitarian side, banking people that are unbanked, as well as giving that freedom of transaction at a more efficient and a more scalable rate. So I'm very excited about this, but I do think we need to cool our jets on expectation. But I think we have a very, very bullish future ahead.
Yeah, I agree. I think to Gary's point about the no capital gains and to kind of follow up with what you were saying about cooling our jets on expectations, I think that just sets a ridiculous expectation. There's no way they're going to just remove all of those capital gains. They might change some nuances to the way it's being taxed now. Some of the miners are getting double taxed in and out. They might, update some of the tax code to make it more friendly towards digital assets. But forget about just like, it's almost like people having the expectation, oh, they're going to abolish the IRS and nobody's going to have to pay income tax. Like, guys, that's just a tagline. Like, that's not going to happen anytime soon. And if you go in with that expectation and anything less than that is a disappointment, you're just setting yourself up for failure. So I agree. I think David Bailey said something along the similar lines that we just need to get that out of our heads.
Stop with the rumors.
Yeah, just let it be realistic.
Why would we even want the government to help us in any way? We have literally been raped, pillaged, screwed around, tossed around, DOJ'd, SEC'd, CIA'd, FBI to death. Now we're going to go ask the government, hey, we want you to treat us differently than crude oil. That is a huge, huge mistake. It is stupid at every level. We can literally say we are the only asset on the planet that's never had a subsidy. We want to stay virgin clean on that stuff. I want to pay my taxes, but I want to know that they're equal, they're fair, and they're not being used to kill people. Like
Absolutely.
That's the question we should be asking. Hey, look, we'll pay our taxes, dude, but you got to stop killing people. Now, you and I aren't going to have to worry about paying our taxes on Bitcoin because I'm already borrowing against my Bitcoin. This is absolutely happening now. Lending protocols are beginning to explode. That's going to reduce the amount of selling from the whales. There's no reason for the whales to sell now. Contact me. I can help you work through how you do that. But these rates have fallen by at least 100% from a year ago. That's exciting, man.
It's huge.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say the same thing. I was like, I think we don't want the government to necessarily help. I think the focus that we should be looking at is like, how do we get involved in deregulating the government, which is focusing on, again, opening up markets to New York or California that don't allow traders to even buy crypto to this day, struggle to get access to self-custody through Bitcoin, more education
I think
on
that's
self-custody.
good, man.
Yeah,
that's good, though. No, see, I think it's good that you have states behaving differently because what people will do is go, hey, I'm leaving New York. Let everybody, it's decentralized. That's the value of the United States. The states get to, oh, no, we're not in agreement with that. So if New York wants to do that shit, I won't do business in New York. I don't want to. I'm not going to invest there. Right. So
isn't that a problem though? Like for example, like for me, like if I've been raising for companies and I've been in this ecosystem for now about 6 years, everything I do is almost, if I'm looking or ever focusing on investments, it is going to Dubai. It is talking to Singapore. It's talking to South Korea. I've never once talked to New York. I've never once looked at a Silicon Valley, and it's, the limitations. There's a little bit in Florida, Miami, St. Pete. There's some access there as well with certain capitals that are looking to enter the market. But to me, that's like a problem fundamentally for young entrepreneurs in the States, is that we are right now pretty much forced to look outside the US for better tax incentives, better fundraising for our companies, and et cetera, rather than stay within our own country.
Well, I guess my question would be, problem for who? Problem for us, or problem for the New York, or problem for the US?
I think it's both.
You know what, with that though, considering this election that just took place and how much money was raised and utilized basically by the crypto lobby, and how that impacted not only what we see in the House of Representatives and the legislator, the whole legislative body at the federal level, that sent a clear signal on the mandate and expectation as to what we're doing moving forward. And I don't want to say we're seeing scrambling, but in terms of the slow pace that the government tends to work at, we are seeing in some nature a scramble and very fast activity and moving forward with all the state level legislation that's getting passed, the laws, the rights to self-custody, the strategic Bitcoin reserves on state levels as well on a federal level. So we are seeing a lot of movement. And I do think we are, especially with New York being supposedly one of those financial capitals of the world. I used to live in New York for almost 17 years. And I remembered all the way up until I moved to Atlanta, there were certain coins that weren't even some crazy wild, like Cartesi, or certain things you couldn't do with XRP was delisted before anything else. There was so many different things that were just absolutely limiting. But I do think that the will of the people and the opportunity cost that is here with Bitcoin and blockchain, and essentially the national security risks of not securing this in a meaningful way, really is going to light the fire under our states and federal level to move forward. But what a great conversation. And I'm happy we could have Gary on again. It's been a long time coming. Just for everybody out there, I just want to call out for a second. Make sure you go and follow Gary on his X profile as well. He does a YouTube channel. He does a great series on Sunday, because all of us get so locked into numbers and crypto and making money. Throw that nonsense aside and realize what's your why. Get in there, meet with Gary on Sunday. He's talking about all kinds of wonderful human things that we need to focus on as well, because all of that relates to how you're navigating this market. If you're not happy here, if you don't have good operation here, you can't navigate in these markets. So figure out who you are. I'll let Gary talk more about that, but I know I have to run because I have another content piece I have to do.
Yeah, well, thanks for joining us here today, Kelly. Appreciate having you on there. And Gary, anything you want to leave us with? Anything you're working on that you want people to follow along with? Or
Kelly, thank you, because as I've always said, I can have 1,000 Bitcoin and be an asshole, and I'm just an asshole with 1,000 Bitcoin. So Sunday mornings, 10:30. I've actually named it now. It's called the I Am Church. So anyway, it just talks about trying to improve your life and what you can do and the little tricks and tips. About an hour. I was criticizing not having a place to go on Sunday morning, so I started one. I think I've done 25 or 26 of them there. It's 4,000 or 5,000 people show up. It's pretty cool. So love to have anybody.
Yeah, and I was honored the other day. You called me out as a 30 or 31-year-old guy. I'm like, man, I need to keep using face cream because I'm 41, baby. So shout out to you, man. Hey,
what is that? Beef tallow? You're rubbing it in.
Yeah,
no, banana
tallow
peels.
and red number 40, baby.
Yeah.
He's
Awesome.
just buying Bitcoin every day.
That's right.
Keeps you young. Keeps you young. Thank you guys for joining us today. So guys, we got a few big speeches going on right now. Type 1 in the chat if you guys are a beautiful DAG holder. Constellation live, actually not anymore. Benjamin Jorgensen did just wrap up here. But we got the friend of the channel, Eleanor Tourette here.
Yeah, we could back it up since if there's nothing else right afterwards. If
this one's good.
Okay.
This is going to be the US competitiveness, and this